Around the UK, there are a small but growing number of dating agencies for people with learning disabilities.
My friend and I, Diane, we set up Heart Venture in 2015, and the reason being was because we realised there was nothing out there for adults with learning disabilities.
One of the people I was working with around employment was very keen to set up a dating service. She had learning disabilities, she was in her 30s, she had a lot of mates who'd got married.
I wanted to create a safe space for my younger sister who has learning disabilities to meet new people.
Our aim was to run a dating agency specifically for adults with learning disabilities. But it wasn't just dating, it was friendship as well.
We used to run social activities, but at those events we found that people were developing relationships but only saw each other at those monthly events.
People join Rainbow Friends for a couple of reasons. One might be to find a partner, but I don't think that's the expectation. I think the expectation is to have somewhere to go along to and meet people who have similar issues to themselves and just be themselves, to be quite honest.
There are many ways to discover and join an agency.
People can join us in a number of different ways. They can refer themselves, they can just hear about us from, a lot of our members come via word of mouth.
We quite often get support staff or family members ringing up on behalf of the person that they care for to find out more about the service.
We got through to a management level of support, but getting through to the people themselves was quite difficult. So we did a direct leafleting campaign to places where people with learning disabilities might go. So there would be various theatre groups around London, various art groups, that kind of thing.
In terms of recruiting members, I think it's all been down to the social media campaign that supports the kind of group. So it's very important. I hold the group here in Wakefield. I think from the outset I realised that this wasn't going to just necessarily work from word of mouth. Word of mouth is good, but we needed to get that message out.
All dating agencies have to charge for their services. Fees vary, but are always kept low.
We charge £12 joining fee, and then for sort of events it'll be between £2 for something like a picnic, or more if we're going bowling or something.
To become a member they had to pay £40 fee, which a lot of people, carers and families balked at, but was in fact a fraction of the cost.
We charge £40 for 12 months or £25 for 6 months.
We never really had anyone say no, they wasn't going to become a member because of the £40.
There are lots of differences in running a dating agency for people with learning disabilities compared to mainstream dating services. Firstly, it may not be just the individual themselves you have contact with.
In a normal agency, for example, you would just deal with the person and their needs and their desires. But in this setting, you can have the person and then their parents and or carers. And then, for example, if they see a team outside, so the learning disability team, they might be involved, and you might have to attend meetings to talk about the person.
I think mainstream LGBT groups can be very intimidating. Plus, you have to have many people that come to Rainbow Friends need support to go to places.
Things that might match two people together are similar interests, similar disabilities, and kind of live kind of close, because we don't want people to be too far apart, otherwise it's not easy to maintain a relationship.
We needed help just to discuss some things in case we were scared are going to go wrong. So I kept asking me to match all about, the ways in case we were thinking it may go right or may go wrong. So they helped us quite well, really.
Most dating agencies for people with learning disabilities put on a wide range of social events.
The type of events that are popular at the moment would always be the meals out. They're always really a social activity. It's really nice, just a small group, maybe 6 people, 7 people around a table, having a conversation, lots of banter, lots of jokes, and just interacting with each other.
It gives people an opportunity to get to know each other, doesn't it, and maintain that relationship. But then day trips are always really popular.
Yeah, they enjoy the long day trips because we're out. We could be out from 8:30 till 6:30, and it's almost like they're getting the money's worth from the event. But then just the be just the regular things like bowling, karaoke, picnics, walks.
Walks, yeah.
All of life is great. We do going on trips, disco, bowling, having a meal out, etc. And we do drama. We even did performing last year in November called Wonderland, and it was really good.
We have a meeting once a month and we discuss where do we want to go from here. Do we want to go out, or do we plan activities? And then we sort all that out by date.
We also provide workshops for our members. One of the things we're looking at the moment is arranging a workshop around consent, relationships and what to do when a relationship breaks down. And that's as a result of feedback we've received from the members saying that there's a need and they'd really benefit from that.
As you might expect, safeguarding is given a high priority. An important part of keeping people safe is providing chaperones for the first few dates.
During the consultation, we talk through our membership agreement, which kind of very clearly outlines what you need to do to sign up. There are some hoops to jump through. You do need to have a learning disability, you do need to have autism, you do need to be over 18. You can't have a criminal record, you can't be on the sex offenders register, and you do need supporting documentation to prove you are who you say you are.
You had to have a personal interview with us. Then we had to have 2 references, and these had to be from someone in a professional capacity. It couldn't be family.
We then have some kind of basic rules being, you can't be married, and, we don't tolerate rudeness or any form of prejudice.
One of the development workers, she chaperoned us, and basically that's when we first met each other.
We meet, for example, if we were going to a restaurant, we meet both people outside and we show them to their table, and then we don't sit next to them at their date.
We have a joke about the idea of having a newspaper with a hole in it, so we're not actually sitting with the couple, but we're somewhere in the room, in the cafe or the coffee shop or wherever they've gone for their first date or 2.
And then every so often the chaperone will walk around and just check if everything's okay. And if the 2 people are in conversation and laughing and smiling, then we just leave them alone and let them get on with it. But if somebody's not happy or they're not talking, then we'll go over to the table and ask if everything's okay. And if somebody says no, then we support them to end their date. And we chaperone on up to 3 dates.
People with learning disabilities may find mainstream dating routes unsuitable for their needs.
We have had some of our members get impatient waiting for the right person and have gone on to online dating sites. And I don't know of anybody where they've actually made a successful relationship out of it. And in fact, they have got quite anxious around it.
The issues that I face daily pretty much are people not understanding the risks involved.
I think the main kind of struggle is that people don't understanding of them and their needs, and it's just lost in communication. Some troubles have been where people have turned up outside people's houses, then realise it's a supported living service, and then kind of clicked, oh, this person has a learning disability, and seen for the first time who they're speaking to.
The issue can be very often you get matched with somebody that lives miles and miles away. And when we're helping people to get together, we look at how close people live and acknowledge that if they're going to be an independent partnership, if they live too far away, it's not going to happen, it's not going to work. They need to be able to get to each other without somebody always having to take them.
It's easier now John's got a car, but when we first met it was very hard.
Also, I used to travel on the train and the buses to see Lola as well, and that took a lot of time.
And a lot of money.
One of the main challenges for these dating agencies is that more men than women join.
The majority of our members are white British and male. The positive thing about that is when a lady joins, that she's matched almost instantly.
The men are looking for women partners, girlfriends, and sometimes we haven't got enough to go round, if you know what I mean.
We had 80, I believe 80 members on the site, and they were all male. They were all male bar 3. And then we had another 30 members to process, and they were all male. And the phone was constantly ringing saying, when are you going to find me a girl? I want my money back, you're rubbish. And we just thought, I mean, we can take it, we've got broad shoulders, but we were putting these men up for disappointment.
We did have a women's group, which was good, and that did generate some female memberships. The issue was funding, because we weren't necessarily funded to provide a women's group. At the moment, we're doing a bit of research about are there any other women's group for people with learning disabilities, and looking at maybe going and do some drop-in sessions there.
And we're even thinking about free membership for the first 3 months, just to try and attract the ladies in. Because at the moment, if we went out for a meal, the ratio for men to ladies would be maybe 4 guys, 2 ladies. So we're looking to try and amend that.
We also have only 2 LGBT members, one of whom's in a relationship, so we really struggle to match people. I know we had a call on Friday from a lady that identifies LGBT, so we just have to explain that they're more than welcome to join, however we're really limited in who we can match.
I think it's even more difficult for people with learning disabilities if they're looking for a single gender relationship. I think quite often it's been accepted by professionals that people may have those feelings, but I don't think it's ever been encouraged or supported.
Parents may be worried about their son or daughter joining a dating agency and may need reassurance.
And I said to my mum, I said, if I don't try it out, how am I gonna experience it or able to know for myself?
Parents and siblings do get involved when people are looking at profiles and making decisions about who they want to meet. And then it can be quite clear that maybe some parents have some strong opinions that they might be kind of pushing on to our members, and that's always an interesting situation. And we tend to have a conversation with our member to really check, you know, is this your opinion or is this someone else's?
It can result in a relationship ending if there's a lot of negativity coming from parents. So we have to try and counter that with positivity and give people the opportunity to meet and make sure that their voice is being heard and that their relationship is being valued.
With my family, they are very religious, and because they don't like it, but I found that really difficult, but I've got my own mind.
I clearly remember a man saying, "You want my daughter to be raped." And, you know, and this was in the middle of a meeting, and it was quite a difficult situation. A lot of family members found it very difficult to accept that part of their children's lives. But one of the really good things about STARS is that we saw that right at the beginning, but towards the end, it was mums bringing their children in, it was mums and dads wanting to volunteer, and you could see that change.
Members have come to us individually with their support and have said, I'd like to join up, but I don't want to make my family aware of this actually, and I'd like to do this independently. And I think that's really telling.
Families are aware of hate crime, mate crime and things like that. But I think once they get to know our way, they recognise that the relationship's not out there on its own. Once we've matched someone or they've got together, they're not then cast off to do everything on their own, that they are in a supported environment. And they can come back at any time to ask for support. We do a lot of mediation between couples, sitting them down and saying, well, what's going wrong here? What's the problem? You know, there might be some difference of expectations within the relationships. They're having some difficulties, they're having some arguments, and we try and sort out those things. So it's an ongoing support. And I think families are, once they realise that, they feel more reassured.
Inevitably, agencies change over time. Some contract, some expand, some switch their focus from dates to social events.
The more it didn't work, the harder the work became. And so in the end, after a year, we had to say no more, we can't facilitate this, it's not working. And we had to cease the dating agency side of the business. But as I say, now we do the events only and they're self-funding.
What we're doing now is we're actually kind of trying to refocus and see what it would be like, the bigger picture and making it more sustainable. So we have been covering London, which is a big area, and now we are focusing and seeing what it would be like if we had different bases around London, because I think if we're going to support people, we really need a local base in each area.
The differences in attitudes have been very refreshing. The younger people are very out there and quite demanding of their rights, and that I find quite rewarding.
When we initially started, it was just a Lancashire-based organisation, but now we've got the funding from the lottery. We were able to expand into Greater Manchester as well. We've also had interest from Cumbria and Cheshire and Merseyside.
What difference do dating agencies make to people's lives?
The real value in it is a place where people can come along and just be themselves and not worry about what other people are going to think.
It helps you build your confidence, you make more friends, and who knows, you might meet someone you like.
Like the two of us.
And I do feel I make a big difference providing the service. We're providing hope for people, which is a huge thing. They might not end up with that amazing relationship they're looking for, but they might end up with friends and like a bag load of confidence they didn't have before.
If they weren't here, we wouldn't be able to come to these like projects or other like day trips.
The job can give you so much satisfaction, it's just incredible. Even now, I've been doing this for such a long time that it still makes me, teary and just full of pride.
It's great just to watch these people doing exactly what you and I would do, what they see their brothers and sisters doing every day.
We enjoy it and we meet new people and friends, and especially love and especially romance as well, which is good.
People that didn't think it was possible to have a partner or in a relationship. Hopefully we'll have one couple who get married, and that will, it's a difficult process because there's lots of things that have to be talked about, but it is possible for people and we're changing lives.
If you would like more information about the research work we carried out or wish to find sources of support, please contact us.